The fact that you successfully run a business in 20 hours a week while homeschooling five children, I just want to really start off with that information for the moms that are listening. And if you're talking to one of those moms that thinks that they need to work this 60, 70-hour a week just to even break even, what would be one of the first things you would tell them to allow them to maybe make a change in that pace and that timing?
The 60, 70 hours just isn't realistic. So I'm a big believer in saying, what is practical? What can you do? I don't even know those 60, 70 hours would be okay if you didn't have kids. Like, how much capacity does the human brain have to operate in overtime? I think they've even done studies that said after maybe even a 6 hours of the 8 hour workday, you're already going downhill. So think how much worse it is if you're putting all the pressure on yourself for the second shift and the housekeeping and coming up with brand new marketing ideas and all this stuff, not to mention keeping your cool for your kids, right? It's just unrealistic. We don't need to live that way. We need to think about what you need first and what you can handle and sustain first, not like launch season push mode sustain, but what is actually practical for you, and then completely revamp your business and your family's schedule and the structure to fit that.
Awesome, awesome. And that's exactly why I wanted to have this conversation with you today. And for everyone that joins us, Alyssa Wolf is the founder of Unbusy Life. She's a fellow mother of five, like I said, and a master at building systems that respect both your business goals and your family life. So, just to get into that, let's dive into where do you start at with moms that are trying to run a business and manage a family?
First, I want to see what all they have going on and what the sticky points are for them. And then, almost always, the answer is subtraction. They're doing too much on the parenting side, or it's on the cooking and cleaning side, or it's too much on the business side. They have no one at all to help them, not even a VA, not even an occasional contractor who can come in once in a while for them. And they are just feeling like, okay, I've got to do it all, be it all, have it all, and I have run out. So there's something wrong with me.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. We feel like we have to keep go, 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 going. And if we don't, we're lacking motivation, we're lacking willpower, we're lacking structure or discipline or some other thing, energy. I don't know. But really, it's just having things in the right place and having the capacity to handle the things that we're putting on our plates, not kind of overbuilding our schedules and our days. So I love that you start with what to take away so that you can have more space and freedom. And how do you help women define what things they can hand off or stop doing?
I have my own list of chores you can hand off and the business items you can hand off. So, what I ask all these women to do is take the time to actually type out a list of every single thing you're doing for the business, daily, weekly, monthly, and do that for your house. And then I need you to get the outside perspective, the fresh eyes, because you've been in your own little box of, well, we always do it this way, or we have since my youngest was born. And you're not realizing how much you could outsource and get rid of because you need someone else to come in from the outside and say, oh, wait, you can't have all of those things as sacred cows for your family suppers and take the kids to museums every Saturday and attend all of their soccer games and show up for your clients, including the ones who are in the UK. So you need an evening time slot and, right? But they're so used to trying to cope, they just think they need to get more disciplined and more efficient, like you
Mhm.
said.
Mhm. The never-ending ands. There's always another and. I'm sure you are aware of that as a mom of five. How old are your kids, if you'd mind, wouldn't mind sharing with us?
6 through 17.
6 through 17. And from what I understand, the Unbusy Life started at child number, where were you?
Number 5.
Number five. So you had five kids and you're homeschooling them, and you said, I want to go start a business.
Yes, I was like, I'm bored. I don't have enough to do. What would sound fun? I'm not really into the canning and embroidery and knitting scene.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And so, how did you stumble upon what you do today and how you help women and the modalities and tools that you use?
Well, first off, I'd never heard of online business before, so it took me listening to a podcast who was like, we're taking a break from our regular programming, and I'm going to tell you all about online business and how you could use your gifts and abilities to help other people. I'm like, wait, what? this would be the perfect answer to the boredom and would like to give back to the world something. Like, okay, we will go down the online business research rabbit hole. How do you start up with the domains and everything? And then I ran into the usual, okay, look at what you're good at, look at what comes easily to you. And I realized I just thought like life was simple, not complicated, never busy. And I'm talking to moms at church who are like, oh, I've got two kids and it's just go, go, go constantly. They're looking at me going, you're homeschooling, you have five, and you don't feel like you're frazzled? Like, no, never have. So I realized I am too close to what I'm doing because that is unusual. I'm like, okay, well, then maybe I should just try to look at what I did over the, 10-ish years that I'd had kids to date and say, what could I distill into a framework? Like, if I applied this and this and this and this and this, I could guarantee she frees up 20 hours a week. Hmm, okay. So I had fun writing and creating and brainstorming and downloading and canvaing and all this stuff.
How fun, how fun. And that's just another testament to how wonderful and useful podcasts and things like that can be because you get to come across these concepts and ideas that maybe you wouldn't normally in your normal friend circle or your day-to-day life. So I really love that you got that from a podcast. It's so nice. And so then you break down these frameworks and things. And I understand that you also delved into human design. When did that come into the picture?
That is new from like the last 8 months. I've been
Okay.
studying it on my own and integrating it. And suddenly I was like, I feel like my clients are missing this whole new additional layer of richness and depth. Like, I want to personalize it to them, but how do I get what I need without saying like, I want your birth details? Why? I don't know, just shut up and give them to me. Like, no, no. I need to come out in the open and say, I'm adding human design to this. I'm not a human design teacher, but I am blending the two of them so that I can tell you exactly why. Because if you're like me, you don't just want someone to say, go do this. You want to say, go do this because this, and this about you or your kids require it instead of the other thing you were reading on that parenting.
Amazing, amazing. I love that because I have the same experience with human design in my clients. It was kind of like I came across it and I was like, this is so very interesting. And I'm like, oh, that's why. That might be why I do XYZ thing this way. And I'm like, I wonder how I can integrate this with my clients, also not a human design like certified teacher or anything like that, but there's enough information out there to kind of weave it in here and there. So I love that you're doing that and that that's new. And would you mind sharing what type of human design you are?
Sure, I'm a 3-5 manifester.
Fun, fun. That explains a lot. No, I'm just
Yeah, really. What about you?
I am a projector. I forgot my numbers just now though. 6'2" or something like that.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I have
but
a
yeah.
6'2" daughter. Yeah.
Oh, how fun. Yeah, so definitely a projector. And it was like, I wondered why this business was like so hard to get going. And it was like, because I just need someone to do that part for me. And I can
Yeah.
just shine doing the work without having to be
Yes.
out there telling people, oh, I'm great at this and I'm great at that. So it was really, really freeing because I've done other businesses where it wasn't something where I really had to get out there and tell people like I'm this or I'm that. Instead, it was just kind of like, oh, here, I made cake pops. You guys want some? And people are like, yeah, I want that. That's easy. So it's totally different kind of businesses and learning how your body, mind functions and kind of works with those things is very, very interesting. And the intuition and kind of leaning into that.
Yeah.
And so
I
do
feel
you
like
also, oh, go ahead.
I feel like it would really help beginning entrepreneurs if they knew that right off, because so much of the standard business advice is really meant for the generators and the managers. Just like
Mhm.
energy, throw a ton of work at it. And you and I are in the sorry, our battery ran out. It's been, a few
Mhm.
hours. Bye, we're
Mhm.
done for the day.
Time to go
And
take
yes,
a
we still want
rest.
a successful business.
Yeah, I'm like, I put in my 4 hours. I'm good.
Uh-huh. Bye bye. See
I'll be
you.
back tomorrow. But yeah, that go, go, go is what I was doing at first. And I definitely did burn myself out doing that. And I was like, "Ugh, why? Why can't I do what everybody else is doing? Why can't I just work all the hours and get all the things done?" So learning definitely helps and adjusting and seeing what fits and works for you. And so do you
Mhm.
use the human design with your kids as well? Because I heard you say your daughter is a
Yes, that
6'2".
was almost the gateway. I was adding it to the parenting to figure out why we were having certain issues. And then I was like, well, I don't know. I feel like if it has this much application to that relationship, shouldn't it affect other things too? Let me go see what else I can dig up. So
Mm.
yes, I've been really leaning into that because with the homeschooling, and you find out pretty fast all the kids are different. And you're wondering, well, why didn't this work for this person? And you don't want to scold the kid and say you're doing a terrible job. Like,
Mm.
some of these people are very, very different.
That's so true. I do remember that light bulb going off as you're teaching the kids, and mine were spread apart as far as age. So I had like a first set and a second set. So to be able to see like, okay, this didn't work so well with this one, let's try it this way with that one, and kind of playing around with things. I wish I had human design back then. And I
Mhm.
know that someone also mentioned to me, someone that is a human design practitioner, that it was actually created for kids and families and relationships or something like that. They were saying, I'm like, I haven't studied and gone that deep into it to see how that works, but I thought that was really interesting too, how that's where it came from. Like that's like the root or something is more about children and families, but we
Yeah.
use it for ourselves.
Yes. It gets at that same root of what is the standard advice and how is it actually wrong?
Hmm.
Because the projector kid doing schoolwork is also going to tap out compared to your generator kid who may
Hmm.
hate certain subjects because they're not in their zone of, the wheelhouse and what lights them up. But you have to know the difference. And then you have the
Hmm.
manifester kid who's like, don't tell me what to do, go away. I have all the types except for reflector,
Hmm. All except for what?
all except for the reflector.
Oh yeah, the reflector's like really rare too,
I
isn't
know.
it's
Yeah.
really, really rare. So very interesting. So yeah, a little manifester and managing and all that good
Generators
talk for
and
you guys that
projectors
don't know.
and
If you don't know what we're
yes.
talking about, we're speaking gibberish to you. Please feel free to go do a little bit of research on human design or reach out to either one of us for a chat for sure. Um, and let's see. So the homeschooling, what got you to decide to homeschool your children?
Well, I was homeschooled and so was my husband.
Hmm. Awesome.
So both of our mothers would have had a fit if we'd done something else.
Yes, I know. I believe when we were speaking, you said that you started off with like the same curriculum kind of that you had.
That's correct. I was like, what do
Mhm.
I do? I want a template. I want to go to a curriculum fair and have 100 different choices. I'm like, I could just start out copying what my mother did. I remember what she did for the early grades. So I bought all of that and
Hmm.
started using it for the first kid and the second kid, cramming them all into the same
Hmm.
box. And then took quite a while, but I ran into, well, first I ran into some learning differences.
Hmm.
And then I ran into unschooling. I was like, oh, what about more of an essentialist, relaxed homeschooling thing that gives each kid the freedom to hit their strong points and also to say, I really hate this, mom. Can I put it off for 2 years
Hmm.
until I'm ready to deal with it and master, get competent enough that I can, check the box and move on? Because right now we're just, headbutting and it's hurting the relationship. And fundamentally, I don't like doing things that I don't want to do either,
Hmm.
manifester. So why do I want to make all the kids do it? Because I said so.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
if you need it to pass your ACT, then I'm not saying so. It's the college get into college test that's saying so.
Yes, yes, yes. And you're at that stage, right, with one of them,
Yes, she's
the
going to college
college
this fall.
era.
Yes, and then it's yeah, I've got two high schoolers, so
Nice.
all the prepping and community college courses and tests and
Yes, quite fun, quite fun. Um I won't go into my homeschooling story, but it was quite interesting because it started off with, no, I'll never be homeschooled to wait, why is she home? And then eventually everybody was homeschooled. Um, but yeah, so it's really an interesting journey being able to provide that kind of curriculum and schooling for your children and spending all that time with them. So how do you balance your work with the children, even though you started it after you had done a lot of momming already and you didn't feel like you were busy? So what does your day look like, I guess is what I'm asking.
how I fit it in is I get really strict with the time buckets. So I'm working before the kids get up. I can work while they're eating breakfast. And then I have the high schoolers don't really need homeschooling time. That's all their own online courses that are getting graded or actual teachers doing it through colleges. So I only have the other three.
Mm.
And my youngest already decided to blow through everything she had for this grade. So essentially, I have two, which is really handy because then it's done in an hour.
Yeah.
So somewhere in mid-morning through lunch, the boys come over and they're like, "Here, Mom, you need to administer our spelling test. You need to grade our this." And we just do that. So it's almost more like I'm taking an hour out of the business day.
Mhm.
Then I can go back to like this client calls or things. And then I can take my downtime because I don't have that long of a battery. So by 2 o'clock, like I am shot. And
Mhm.
then relax and restore myself till supper time, a little more family time. And then I need more downtime even after that.
Mm.
So mostly adding the business was me getting really, really clear. Okay, I've got to outsource some of the housekeeping.
Mm.
I'm going to swap for business time. And then I'm going to swap my leisure time. It's not going to start in the morning. It's going to go towards the middle and end of the day so that the business brain stuff gets priority. And then
Mm.
I'm going to make sure the homeschooling does not expand. So I'm going to keep looking for efficiencies. What about an online math curriculum that grades your math so you're not arguing with me about it? What about a really strict back basic grammar system? Things like that so that I am not spending multiple hours a day per kid because I don't think I'd have the battery for that as a manifester either.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So that's great. I really love that you shared that with us because some people may be thinking, wait, what? How? 5 kids? Especially people that have never homeschooled before. Because,
Yeah, I'm like, well, really, I'm only dealing with two of them at the moment, so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not as weird as it sounds.
Yeah, yeah. The once they get into high school, it definitely is a little bit easier because they're doing things that are more on their own and without you. Even junior high-ish was, at
Yeah,
least for
then
me.
it's more like, oh, I need to take a weekend project to research some courses or some study
Hmm.
help for you. It's not a daily sit down with you and go over this type of thing.
Yes. Yeah. I do miss those days though, the early years when you're teaching them the ABCs and the one, two, threes. Not so much the reading. The reading wasn't as fun.
I'm like, can you just magically learn this
Yeah,
hurdle? And we had a couple
exactly.
kids who did, which then sort of left me unprepared for the ones who actually needed to be taught.
Yes, yes. So fun, all the differences. And having 5 different children definitely gives you a broad aspect of humanity. And so I'm sure that
Yes.
comes into play and helps you out with working with different clients as well, right?
Yes. I've
Awesome.
even been
Awesome.
able to test out things looking at the kids' charts and saying, okay, so I wonder if that technique would work for that person because I haven't had a client with that design yet.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Little test subjects. Um, and then also, when you are dealing with moms that want to run businesses or are running businesses, is there any time period in motherhood where you're like, you know what, maybe don't do this right now? Like you have a newborn or something, or how do you deal with moms that are just really having a lot on their plate, maybe single moms or things like that?
I had one client who was like this. She had her business down to 5 hours a week. It was very profitable, and she said she was still too crunched.
Mm.
So, what I ended up having to tell her was we can look at more ways to outsource that will take money, or we will need to rewire some of the what it means to be a good mom stories that you have been carrying.
Mm.
If those are not acceptable routes, because it's the client's job, it's their power to choose, not mine, then I think I'm going to suggest that your third option drop the business because 5 hours a week, like we can't get more efficient than that from a
Mm.
business perspective. So
Yeah.
that is quite unusual. And she did in the end choose to keep the business. But most women are coming more in the I work 30 to 40 hours a week. I would love to get down anywhere in that 10 to 20 range. And they're
Mm.
not realizing all the support they could bring in that isn't going to cost nearly as much as they think. Or it was them themselves. They were thinking, oh, but I need to do this for the kids. I need to do this. Oh, I should be the one to do all this for the business, even if I don't like it, even if it's not my zone of genius. I should because lots of good business owners know how to do this. That kind of a thing.
Mm.
So it's more of a what do you want most? If you love having something outside the kids, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. If
Mm.
you have a newborn and you still have enough energy despite getting up at night, you have a few hours to work on the business, you have in-home childcare, great, go for it. If you have no one helping you at all and you need any spare moment you get taking a nap, probably not. But also, you probably don't even have the brain power to think of that, is my guess. Or you did have the business and you're on maternity leave and you're going to go back, 3 months
Mm.
from now, type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That makes sense because it's like either you have the bandwidth or you don't.
Mhm.
And you're willing
If
to
you
make
have
some
bandwidth and you're
changes.
time crunched, we can make changes. It will happen.
I love that. 5 hours a week. Beautiful. So there's hope. There's hope out there, ladies. There's all kinds of things you can do. Oh, would you mind telling us what kind of business she had where she was able to do 5 hours a
Yes, she
week?
was marketing and PR.
Ah,
She didn't
nice.
take on too many clients and she had her workflows down extremely streamlined. She's very good
hmm
at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. Are there any other businesses that you think of that you're like, these are kind of perfect businesses for stay-at-home moms? Is there anything that kind of fits a certain category like that, or pretty much anything can kind of be finagled?
I think most anything in that, the coaching, the online service provider, you can do the whole market, the podcast, selling courses off stuff. I've even had people who kind of ran a business adjacent, like they gave haircuts, they did beauty treatments. So they were close to their kids, but they had a separate area to see the clients for that, and they could sort of pop in and out. If you're more of a people person, basically, that can work really well. You're not driving to a location, they're coming to you.
Mm, nice.
So I think a lot of different things work. It just depends what support networks you've got set up, essentially. And are your kids home with you all day? Are they at school all day? Can you go to a co-working space? Like, what do you actually need for your clients? Maybe you're an online therapist and you're like, no, 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 I need complete confidentiality. So I need my kids in school and virtual sessions in an
Mhm.
office with a locking door. I don't know.
Yeah, 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 definitely. That's really neat because there's all kinds of women out there I know that are looking for things to do from home. And they're like, I just want something where I can stay home with my kids or
Yeah.
maybe be at home while they're at school and then be there when they get out
Mm-hmm.
and just
You can
not
do
even knowing.
products, you can
Yeah.
do YouTube channels, like whatever you actually like to do. Like I would hate an Etsy shop sewing things. Don't like
Mhm.
sewing. But some people, it would be amazing for them.
Mhm. Yeah. Find something that lights you up, basically, and
Hmm.
figure it out. It's always a good way to start. Um, and then when it comes to things like I know you help women with, is it you do, is it, okay, brain fade, block scheduling? Is that how
Yes.
you help them usually with putting things into place? And what do you think is the benefit of block scheduling?
Like we get enough interruptions as a mom. If you're constantly thinking, to be a good mother, I must be available to my kids, not tell them be quiet, go away. But to be a good business owner, move the needle, I need a certain number of work hours. That's really fragmenting your focus. So if you can have a block scheduling where you're like, this is my work time, kids, you do not interrupt me. I mean, if there's a fire in the kitchen and someone's gushing blood, absolutely. But those should not be happening. And then you like head down, work mode, you can focus. Now you have all the benefits of working from home, the comfy environment and the PJs and your own snacks. And then you have kid time later when it works for you. And you're like, nope, I am not on my phone. I am not foxing my clients. I'm not distractedly saying, yes, honey, and looking down. I am with you 100%. What do you want to do? Do you want to play Monopoly? Do you want to play Crazy Yes? Do you want to go to the park? Do you want to make cookies with me? And you're 100% all in with them. And yes, that meant certain hours a day you weren't available for your kids, but I'm not sure that they object to that trade-off. I think they would much rather have you and they would think about the mommy time with the 100% attention rather than saying, ah, but I don't have her 24/7. I only have her 27. Is that big of a deal, really?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love the block scheduling. It's definitely a lifesaver and a game changer in life because that task switching that we do, trying
Hmm.
to multitask everything, really waste more time than it saves.
Exactly.
And we
Like,
don't
think how much you're
realize.
ballooning your to-do list by
hmm
adding all that task switching.
yeah. And the kids, I think it just depends on the age because I do remember
Yeah.
trying to do what was I trying to do? I was recording something at some point when they were little. And yeah, mommy's recording, don't come in kind of means nothing at a certain
Yeah,
age.
that's when you have to push it all to when they are asleep. You're done for your
Yeah,
nap, you haven't
yeah.
gotten up yet, you're in bed. I'm sorry, block
hmm
scheduling means when they are not around when they're
Yes,
little.
yes. You have to like plan it around nap time and all of those other things.
Yes.
Eventually you learn, you figure it out, or you get some help.
Hmm.
Because you have that stage where they don't even let you go to the bathroom alone. I remember that one too. So, so yeah, definitely finding the things that work for you and your type of business, your stage of life. And I love how you said what you see basically as good mothering or good parenting. And are there some things that maybe you've decided to put in that pile of shoulds that you maybe don't need to do and you can kind of take out and say, hey, this doesn't really work for me and I want to do parenting this way or mothering this way. So giving women that freedom to realize that we do have choice and options, because I think a lot of us do go into motherhood or business or whatever we're doing as adults, quote unquote, with this mindset of we have to do it this way. This is the right
Mhm.
way. This is how it has to get done. So
Yes.
giving women that freedom is so key. And I'm so happy that you shared that part. And I hope a lot of women take it to heart. Do you have a hard time when you're telling moms that, to kind of let these things go? How do you
Yes.
help them get around those mindsets?
Sometimes it's the trade-off, like, okay, you do realize you are choosing, you would rather not have a business and you would rather cook meals for everyone, hot meals, hot lunches, hot breakfast, because you think that's what it means to be a good mom. And I'm telling you, that's all your energy can manage. Like full in on the home chef with your garden from scratch food, or having a business and being willing to say, I don't have to pick up the groceries myself. I do not always have to cook every meal myself. I have to make sure there is food and family meals are happening. That
Mm.
is my job.
Yes, yes, yes. But you don't have to do every single detail of it.
Mhm.
And it's so good when the kids start getting older and they're able to actually help as well, because then you're able to pass skills and lessons and
Mhm.
knowledge on to them. And that's one thing that I feel is so missing in our modern day society and
Yeah.
schooling. And I had the opportunity of putting my kids in a Montessori for a very brief time. And I just really loved how at a very, very young age, in the beginning classes, they were teaching the kids how to clean up after themselves, how to sweep the floors and set the table and do little small things to help with preparing meals. Are there any specific like times in a child's life or chores and things that you have kind of a list of that you help moms with? Like, hey, your kid's probably ready to do XYZ.
Yes, I have a whole set of that because I'd implemented some of it
Mm-hmm.
for the third through fifth kids, but adding the business made me go, oh, wait, there's a lot more stuff I could hand off because I agree. You do not want your kids to have to be going off to college saying, I've never actually done laundry for myself, start to finish, every single thing. I have never done an entire meal for myself, every single thing, meaning I have considered the price of ingredients, I have shopped, I have food prepped everything and cooked everything all at the same time and done the dishes and made all the sides. Like saying they're good, you know how to cook because they did one part of the meal does not really prepare them for what it's like when you're the mom and you're in charge of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's always that thing of if you start them so young that they don't even realize, it's just this is the thing we do in our house. Here, come help set the table. Come get your stuff out of the dishwasher. Come put it away in the dishwasher, when it's dirty. Then there's not this big shift of, what do you mean I have to start cooking? This is nuts. You're the worst mom ever, right? They're just like, well, of course, I have chores. My younger siblings have chores. My older siblings have chores. When they leave the house, I'm going to have to take on some of their chores. When I get bigger, mommy lets me use the blender. Uh,
Yeah. It becomes more like gamified and they get to the next
mhm.
level
What
and
do you want? You want to eat spaghetti more often? Sure. You want to cook it? Then we can
Mhm.
have spaghetti as many times a week as you want. Like, cook
Yes.
gets to choose. Oh, well, then I
Yes.
want to learn to cook too. Oh, sure, sure. What do you like?
Exactly. That's been the popular one around here lately for sure. Everybody's I'm like, what do you want for dinner? They're like spaghetti. I'm like, well, you know what to do. And it's like they'll go
Hmm.
off to the store and they'll grab the stuff and they'll make the
Yeah.
spaghetti. We're
I got
still
this
working on
at
how
the
to
grocery
season it
store.
properly, but
Yeah. Mhm. Like, you have how many jars of spaghetti sauce? I'm like, we have 7 people in our family and we like spaghetti. Like, oh, okay, if you say so.
yeah, definitely. Definitely gotta have enough to go around and preferably for leftovers because we don't have to cook all
Yes,
the
because some
time.
of the people are like, I love leftover spaghetti. And if you eat it all up that night and think, yay, I don't have to put anything away, they're actually quite upset.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what are you gonna eat for lunch tomorrow? Or for mine, sometimes it's breakfast.
Hmm.
So Yeah, it's really lovely being able to teach them those skills. And like you said, all of the steps are necessary because once they do go off and we have to let them go, sadly,
Because I
they
thought
have
I know
to.
how to do laundry because I folded and sorted and put it away.
Hmm.
That is not collecting it, sorting it into loads, pressing the right buttons, the right amount of soap, you know.
Exactly, exactly. I remember when I took my oldest to college that was an interesting thing they were talking about was picking up their kids' laundry and bringing it back. I'm like, who's doing that? Why are you your
Uh-huh.
kids in college and you're picking up their what? I was like, so it was like a total different paradigm for me. And I'm like, my kids have been doing laundry since they were probably like 7, 8, 6, I don't know, whenever
Mhm.
they could reach to put it into the
Exactly.
little laundry thing. So, of course, with my assistants, I was there and I
Of
helped them.
course, you know.
We sit around, watch TV, and sort out the clothes, or, get your clothes together, and everybody's sitting there folding together. It was nice little activities that you can do as you're teaching your kids. So, um, is there something that I did not touch on that you would like to share? Because I know I'm kind of in my own head of the things that I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this. And you have so many
No,
wonderful
this is
things that you
great.
do. Yeah, awesome, awesome. So, we touched on the human design, we touched on the homeschooling and the business and helping other moms and businesses. Where do you see this going forward, this kind of concept of, we have AI and all of that coming in, and people are kind of worried about what their kids are going to do when they grow up, and how do they secure, funding for themselves and for their kids and for their futures. Do you have any ideas or insights about those kind of things?
I keep going back to the basic principle that you still have to do something that you are good at. It might look a little different now that we've lived in AI. Like the one I have going off to college is in computer science. So that field is shifting rapidly. But the fact that AI can do certain jobs or certain parts of certain jobs does not erase the fact that she's gifted in web development and graphic design and coding. So, like, yes, you may have a major in this, choose wisely, see what you need as a company, but I can't tell her not to use that aspect of her personality, right? Like, someone can't tell me, stop writing because AI can write things. I am going to write. So, I think part of it is taking it on faith that there will be something to do in your skill set and then being adaptable. I'm a 3 line in human design. I'm always looking for up leveling and fixing and tweaking and making better. But
Mhm.
either AI is going to crash and people will quit using it, or it's going to make everybody's lives better. And we'll all be used to integrating it in a bazillion different ways. Like, I think it's very binary.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I always think of the different things that we've gone through over time. We always get different things. Like even right now, before we started the podcast, how I was having problems with my iPad and the pen wasn't working. And I was like, do I even have pen and paper in the house anymore? And then I went and grabbed, I have a fountain pen. That's what I'm writing with. Fountain pen and paper. People probably were like, oh, fountain pens, nobody needs those anymore, blah, 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 blah. I love them. There's always somebody somewhere that's interested in something that we may have moved on from as a collective, and it may not be the hottest, greatest thing that we're putting all of our money and time into, but it's still valuable. It's just the way that I always look at it. Just like they talk about the old story with when electricity came online and the candle makers. How many of us still have candles in our homes? You know, so yeah,
Now it
that's
becomes like a niche luxury good.
yes,
You still have a
exactly.
market.
Exactly. Like I have an artist here and we're always talking about AI and how AI does art and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, but your art is still your art. It's still your own personal expression. And AI can never do that. It can make whatever art it's making, but it can't make your art the way you
Mhm.
make it with your ideas and your concepts. So it's like enjoy life, do what you can, and be able to communicate, I think is going to be one of the best, most important things going forward. If you can communicate with the AI and get it to do what you want it to do and communicate with other people. And those skills and abilities, I don't think will ever go out of fashion.
Yeah, learn
So,
to communicate, learn how to learn.
yep, learn how to learn and learn how to communicate. Definitely very important skills. So, I know that you do have a special gift for our viewers. If you want to tell them a little bit about what is it called? I just lost it.
Time pack
Um,
secrets for entrepreneur moms.
Yes, yes, yes. Do you want to tell them a little about what they'll get in that?
Sure. So, if you're ready to clear your two full plate as an entrepreneur mom, I'm going to break down how to get 3 hours back for yourself or your business every single weekday. Because let's be honest, we're both moms. Reclaiming 1 hour definitely isn't going to cut it. So, you can take it from us. We are both homeschooling moms, business owners, large families, but there is no need to flirt with burnout to hold both your high achiever self and your present mom self. So, press play on this Time Back Secrets audio feed. You've got 7 episodes, and then I will help you banish the pressure from your daily to-do list.
I love that so much. Who doesn't want 3 hours back every day? Every day. I don't even know what I would do with an extra 3 hours at this
That's why I started a business.
Yeah, I am having so much fun with the schedule I do have because I definitely took a lot of principles that are similar to what you use and put them into what I do and um, understanding like our own natural rhythms and seeing that there's a certain time of day where I'm more awake and alert and on fire and ready to do things and planning your schedule around those as far as my business things where I have to be like ready to go and get things done versus, things like making dinner where I maybe don't need as much. And relaxing with the kids or the hubby and watching TV or reading a book, like those things I can do later in the day. And so I love that you shared that kind of concept of how you put all of your work things in that morning, kind of time and have a little spot in there for the kids and getting schoolwork done. And then the rest of your day later on to, do what you need to do and want to do and enjoy the family and all of that kind of things. I have a similar schedule. And it's definitely much, much better, I have to say, than when I was just trying to do everything all day for
Yeah,
everyone. And your head's
that
just
is
spinning
crazy
around.
making.
Yes. And you're just like spinning all these plates. And that's why I think so many of us are always looking for work-life balance. And that's why I became the harmony coach because I was like, it doesn't feel like we can actually do this balancing thing. I'm like on this tightrope and I just want to find a way that I can just enjoy life and get the things done and just enjoy that ebb and flow of life. So I'd love to know, what do you think of when you hear the word harmony?
Hmm. Think of music.
A lot of people do. A lot of people do, definitely, because that's where we use it the most, harmonious music and the low notes and the high notes and all of those wonderful things. And another question I'd love to ask before we close out would be, what is one thing that you would say that used to be true, but is not true for you anymore?
I used to be the person who had to finish her to-do list before she could sit down. And then
Hmm.
I realized, I'm already out of energy and the to-do list isn't done. What if I drop that work before play mandate?
Hmm.
And I'm a lot happier because what I find is if I give myself a break, I will come back to the to-do list, knock it out in double time, and still be done by the end of the day. But I had a much better attitude throughout it.
Exactly, exactly. I love that. And that's such a hack that most people are like, what? I can't stop. I can't take a break. I'm like, you don't understand how good a 30-minute nap is, do you? If you really need it, like just or just relaxing for a few minutes and then getting back to what you were doing, your brain like refreshes. It's like a reboot. It's so really nice. So I love that. That's a really great change. And final closing remarks, do you have anything else that you'd love to say to our ladies and let them know, or some type of guidance or anything?
Sure, if you're feeling overwhelmed with this whole make over your life, fix all the things, get back into alignment, just narrow it down to one thing. Find the one spot that's bugging you most about your daily schedule and do take one action to change that. Could be your after dinner cleanup routine, could be getting the kids out the door in the mornings, just one thing. Fix that. That is going to add to your happiness and start the snowball.
I love it. I love it so much. Thank you so much for being here, Alyssa. And for everyone that's been watching and listening, you can find her on LinkedIn. We'll be sharing her LinkedIn as well as her website, which is, what is it? The Unbusy
Yourunbusylife.com.
YourUnbusyLife.com. And she has a podcast as well. So lots of great ways to get in touch with Alyssa. Also, grab the free item that we're going to put here in the description. And we'll see you next Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern for the Harmony Principle podcast.